Hello my friends and welcome. I have to start this video from the bad news. As you know, Ukraine performed the attack from the Urozhaino village yesterday. The idea was to expand the bridgehead in this area because there is the significant risk for Ukrainian army of being attacked by the Russian forces from two of the directions, from the east and from the west. That is why it's crucial for Ukrainian army to expand on the sides, not just southbound. But yesterday's Ukrainian attack appeared to be not so successful because it brought lots of the losses. Ukrainian convoy that started the assault towards the Russian positions was ambushed by the Russian artillery. Today we have the confirmation about it. Ukraine lost quite a lot of the infantry vehicles and army personnel. Ukrainian side reports about 20 of the casualties from our side. It seems that Russian forces predicted that movement and aimed their artillery systems towards the place. Anyways, Ukrainian army took the ground in this area, but for what cost? We have even the drone video confirmation that is coming from the Russian side. From that video, I may say that there were 4 of the armored vehicles of Ukraine. Plus, we have the exact position of the Ukrainian convoy ambushment. It's on the eastern side from Urozhaino village. I will not publish the video from the Russian drone on this platform, but I already shared it on my Telegram channel. You may check it out in the video description just below. The video here is not good. But what can I say? It's war and we also have losses, and sometimes our commanders make mistakes. We're gonna speak about the Ukrainian officers training later in this video. I have my own comments about this issue, but I'll keep them for now with myself. But I'll tell you what Deep State Military Map Resource writes about this case. They say that the mission of this particular convoy was to use the ground roads and move towards this position. The Russian artillery didn't open the fire until our armored vehicles reached their destination and gathered at the same compact group. There is the big question that Deep State asks, why there was no any cover from Ukrainian artillery of our convoy. For now this question is open and no one is able to answer it. They confirm that Ukraine lost around 20 of the soldiers in this ambushment. The Russian Telegram channels and media resources start to share this information as their victory to increase or boost the morale of the Russian soldiers. Usually the Russian military bloggers complain a lot about their situation on the front lines, and they take any kind of the opportunity of the Ukrainian army mistake to boost their morale. Actually, if we check out the Deep State Military Map Resource and other map resources, we may see the Ukrainian advancement for the single day taking more of the ground. Yes, it is terrible that we lost 4 of the armored vehicles and many soldiers. Nevertheless, the Ukrainian army propels forward. Is it successful counterattack in this direction? I wouldn't say so, judging on the losses that happened yesterday. It shows that the Ukrainian middle rank and low rank command needs additional training. That is the main task of Ukraine right now, judging on the signals that are coming from our allies. For example, the General Lieutenant of Bundeswehr Andres Marlow said that Ukraine changed the strategy for the training and now prioritized the sergeant and officer training over the soldiers training. General Marlow says that Ukraine isn't desperate of the low and middle rank commanders. We even have the reforms in Ukrainian army allowing the soldier to upgrade to the officer rank without the high educational degree as it was before, but with this special training. That new feature allows young and ambitious people to take their proper place in Ukrainian army command. As I told you before, Ukrainian army still has this old long Soviet tail, and some of the Ukrainian commanders are just like dinosaurs. That is why we need some refreshment. I am not saying that all of the old commanders and generals are bad. No, it's not even close to that, but still the large percentage of the old Soviet commanders are not willing to improve and they're not flexible. We call them dinosaurs. If we speak about the NATO standard army, we should get rid of that long Soviet tail. As for this bridgehead in Urozhaine and Staromayorsk, I expect the further movement of Ukrainian army firstly to the east and to the west, and only after it we're gonna cross the river to reach Zavitna-Bazhane village. By the way, Russia continued to use their artillery fire, even some phosphorus-looking munition in Staromayorsk and Urozhaine. Taking back those two villages, Ukraine unfortunately demolished most of the households in the place, so there's the problem now hiding Ukrainian soldiers, because Russia continued to use even aviation gliding bombs on those two villages. That is why I also expect the continuous movement of Ukrainian army. We need to take more ground, not to stay at the one position that is shelled by the Russian aviation and artillery. From this place, let's move to Robotyne. Ukrainian army slowly but gradually moved towards that village. We have even the military map update for today showing the advancement. It was yesterday and it is today. The gray area covered almost all of the village. It means that Ukrainian forces are there fighting in the urban environment. Pushing Russians further away allowed Ukrainian army to get close to the Leopard 2 tanks, and soon they're gonna be evacuated from the scene. It was the ambushed Ukrainian convoy before, and you can see lots of the Leopard tanks are stuck in the mud because they rolled over the anti-tank mines or were hit by the Russian artillery, or sometimes were hit by the Russian Lancet drones. But in general, on this video, those tanks are in one piece and I don't see the severe devastation of the tank construction, so they will be repaired for sure. I guess I saw this Leopard 2A6 tank on one of the Russian drones video. Firstly, it was hit by the anti-tank mine. You can see the damage to the tank caterpillars and wheels, and later on Russia sent the Lancet drone to finish it. The Lancet drone went into the aft part of the turret where the shells are. The Ukrainian crew evacuated even before the Lancet drone attack, and as you can see, the Lancet drone devastated the aft part of the turret, all the shells, but there are some of the panels in the ammunition compartment, like in Abrams tanks as well, that allow the energy of the ammunition explosion just to enter the atmosphere and not in the tank itself. In the Soviet-made tanks, the ammunition is located just inside the tank, surrounding the crew members, so the explosion energy usually rips off the turret from the tank and it flies away to the space. In Leopard, in Abrams, it's almost impossible. However, it is possible for the Leopard 1 tank, where some of the ammunition is also stored inside the tank, plus it has much lighter armor compared to the Leopard 2. Also, as you can see, this tank lost few of the very important and expensive tools. And I don't know about the engine. Judging on this color, I don't think that the engine is okay too. So it requires heavy maintenance and lots of funds to run again, but the main thing, that crew survived. It is the main good feature of the Leopard 2 tank. Just now we have the information from the Russian resources that Ukrainian army starts to assault near to Klishchiivka. Before, Russia tried to assault in Klishchiivka but was completely demolished. On my Telegram channel, I published the video of downing of the Russian K-52 helicopter. It's over here. It was hit at the low altitude and miraculously one of the Russian pilots survived. The Russian pilot was able to eject from the helicopter. Yes, the Russian K-52 helicopter has the ejection feature. The propeller blades just disconnect and pilots lift off. Here clearly you can see the parachute of the Russian pilot. The Russian army uses the transport Mi-8 helicopter to evacuate their pilots, and usually they fly in a single formation. This helicopter is also able to carry some of the missiles, so for some time it even may cover the K-52 from the ground attacks. More about helicopters, there are also some good news for Ukraine as well. We are speaking about the attack versatile Mi-24 helicopters that Czech Republic will send to Ukraine. We don't know how many of the units we're gonna receive, but they will be for sure delivered to Ukrainian army, and it is awesome. About the Ukrainian counteroffensive, mainstream media again says that something is going not according to plan and Melitopol will not be liberated this year. Well, definitely it's kind of the optimistic scenario to liberate that city this year, as it was planned before the counteroffensive of the Ukrainian army. But with the current Russian resistance, this optimistic plan doesn't work. It doesn't mean that Melitopol city will not be liberated. No, all of the Ukrainian territories will be. But unfortunately, with the current resources ratio, Russia has still lots of the resources, plus some of the allied countries like China, which supply any sorts of the goods to Russia. This war may continue for quite a long time, for years. And some of the Western countries' intelligence services say that Putin and the Russian regime itself has the huge support still within the Russian society. There is quite low possibility of the protests or regime change in a nearby future, and I believe as long as Putin has the power in Russia, this war will unfortunately continue. As I told you in my yesterday's video, this night Ukraine performed the attempt to target some of the Russian military ships in the Black Sea. Unfortunately, that attempt was not successful. Russian ships were ready for that attack and destroyed the Ukrainian boats. Nevertheless, Russia doesn't have the robust tool to protect their ships in the Black Sea, so we expect more attacks performed by the drone boats, which will be sent by the Ukrainian special services. However, there was quite a successful drone excursion from Ukraine to Moscow city. There was the big kaboom near to the main office center of the Moscow city. Drones really like this place because they are spotted there for the third time with some of the kabooms. There were no casualties, just some of the buildings were damaged. However, in occupied Donetsk, one of the FPV drones with quite a big shell hit the police office building, and there was the meeting of the local occupiers' chiefs. After the kaboom, some of the occupiers were delivered to hospital. Russia, Turkey and Qatar to start the new grain deal, in which Russia will supply their grains to the third countries, mostly to Africa and to some of the Asian countries, including China. I think that this deal will also include the unblocking of the Ukrainian grain export from the Ukrainian ports. By Russia, of course. Why? Because it's happening anyways. With Russia or without Russia. A couple of days ago we spoke about this container ship that went from the Odessa port for the first time since Russia left the grain deal, and today it was spotted in the Turkish territorial waters already behind the channel. It means that it crossed the Black Sea with no issues. The Ukrainian port blockade doesn't work, so Russia has to join the grain deal again. Russia continued to lose a very sensitive and unique equipment, for example as this Leopard radar station. It may create the interference for the enemy systems and also locate the enemy units, but it was targeted by HIMARS. Someone is smoking again. Alright, this time officially, the Ukrainian Defense Ministry confirms that Denmark and Netherlands received the green light from the United States of America to deliver the F-16 fighter jets to Ukrainian army. Awesome. The training of Ukrainian pilots takes place in European countries. The main hub is Romania. There are some rumors that Russia may announce the new mobilization on 25th of September. At least that information leaked to the press. Meanwhile, the Russian officials refuse to confirm that information, saying that it's not true. Even now, there is the hidden mobilization in the Russian Federation. Usually, they take around 20,000 new soldiers in their country army each month. There are some new protests in Russia, in Makhachkala, Dagestan. However, those are not against Putin or the Russians regime. People protest against the lack in electricity. Because of the kaboom that happened at the gas station not long time ago, they lost the power supply for the vast part of the city. That's why people start to block the roads. Those are the only protests possible in Russia. The good news for the Ukrainian refugees who went to the United States of America. The United States extended the refugee program till 2025. And obviously this program will be also extended in European countries. Thank you so much for supporting Ukrainian people wherever you live. All you need to know about the Russian peace. This is their Moscow church, and they bless the monument for Stalin. Yes, indeed, they put the new monument for communist Stalin, because of whom millions of Russians and millions of Ukrainians and other nations who used to live in the Soviet Union were just repressed and graved. And they bless it with their church, the same church that blesses the war in Ukraine. Now, my friends, please press the like to this video, and also if you want to support my job, you might check out a few of the links in the video description just below. Special thanks for my Patreon supporters and for the sponsors of my YouTube channel. You are awesome. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.